You come on camera and ask me to do what you've asked me to do. Another day, another Proton. I literally just cannot seem to say no. Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. John here on a beautiful evening here in Lincolnshire. And the evening for me has got much better. For Mrs. John Coupland, maybe not so, because I have just bought this 1993 Proton 1.5 GL. It's cost me £250 and it's just been delivered to me by the boys at JW Recovery. I've known about the car for a while and it's one that I had said yes to and just then never got round to picking it up. Well, my hand has been forced and I've had to hand over the cash and I've had to have it delivered. I haven't really had a good look at it. I have had a little bit of a look at it, so I know a little bit about it. But unlike some of the cars that I've bought and presented to you, I don't know too much about it. In this video, me and you will have a good look around the car. We'll start with the outside, look at the pros and cons of it, and we'll have a look at the interior and discuss together what its future is going to be. I've made it a bit of a habit recently of buying these with no engine. So let's check that out first. Here we go. Aha, good. Under the bonnet is this, an engine. Let's take a look at it. What do we got under here then? Well, we've got a multi-point injection engine. It is a Mitsubishi unit. It is a Magma engine and it's a 1.5 litre petrol, also known as the triple valve. They're blooming good engines, they're absolutely bulletproof, and the 1.5 is very pokey. Actually, this is quite possibly the highest mileage Proton not only have I seen, but I've bought. 151,711 miles. I wouldn't tell that from looking at it. What else can I see under the bonnet? Well, actually, it all looks very good. There is a little bit of an oil leak from the top of the block there, but nothing seems to be missing. Everything seems to be in place. There is a creative battery holder on there, but it seems to be in relatively good condition. Okay, let's do something that I like to do and have not been able to do for a very long time in these Proton videos, and that is try and start it up. There seems to be oil in the engine. There's a little bit of milk or mayonnaise on the top there. I think that is probably just from where it has been stood, hopefully. Let's open up the coolant, open up the radiator. There's sludge in there. I want to show you that actually. So as I said, there's a substance on the oil here, on the oil cap, but inside the engine does not look too bad. And this, well, the coolant will certainly need replacing. There's obviously a clear amount of corrosion on there. That is not an original radiator cap for this car. So either it's had a new radiator, which I don't think it has, or it's had a new radiator cap at some point, which I'm really struggling to get back on the car. Get back on there! Just while we're checking levels then, let's pop the coolant tank expansion off. Ooh, there's water in there, but it's brown. Well, for the sake of this, that's okay. There's even water in the reservoir. Let's open the brake fluid reservoir and have a look. Flipping heck! Or not, that can stay on there for now. So I'm going to start it up. The plan of attack: get a whacking great big jump pack hooked up to it and see if we actually get any power. Like I said, these are pretty bulletproof. I've had cars like this that I've not started for 10, 15 years, hooked a jump pack up to, given it a couple of goes, and it's fired straight up. Put a new battery on there and it'd drive to the MOT centre. I've come into the kitchen for live reaction from Mrs. John Coupland. I'm calling this disapproval cam. How do you feel about the new Proton that's arrived this evening? So I've had to go and get Dad's jump pack from his house because some Wally left his own out in the rain and it's gone bang. So for Christmas well, Mrs. John Coupland will be buying me a new Sealy jump pack. They're not cheap. Right, let's connect up the battery. I'm confident about this. That's not necessarily a good sign. I can't hear the ECU whirring. Okay. Well, the good news is we've got lights on the dash, so there's clearly electric getting to the car. Let's start it up. Moment of truth. I'm going to make sure it's out of gear. Here we go. Well, the blowers have come on. Let's turn them off. Okay. I've got an oil warning light on. I've got a door open light on. I've got a battery warning light on and the handbrake light. Oh, and the CD player's come on. Come on. Come on. Oh! It sounds like a tractor. Why does it sound like a tractor? Oh, there's no exhaust on it. Well, it starts, but it sounds very agricultural. That engine is ticking over nicely. There's no surging. I'm conscious that it needs a good old service, so I'm not going to run it too much. I'm going to give it a blip. It's not misfiring. I'm thinking about whacking an exhaust on it and taking it for an MOT. So it starts. That is a good thing, and I haven't bought a Proton that starts for about 6 months this year. So that is a very good sign. Me clearly paying the extra 150 quid. Not only have I got an engine, but I've got a Proton that starts. I wonder if it moves. Oh, it sounds like a race car. Goodbye. I'm off to the MOT centre. Yeah? Seems fine. The clutch, well, there's a lot of play in that, but it moves, it starts, it runs, it drives, it needs an exhaust. That gear stick's a bit wobbly. It's ticking over lovely. And there's half a tank of petrol in it. Right, stop cocking about with it and let's have a look at it. So far then, so good. Let's take a look at the bodywork and then the interior. First thing that got me really excited, it's a tin top. There's no sunroof to leak, and I'm just going to take a moment to appreciate that, because all the Protons I've had recently have been leaky old moisture boxes. Thank you, Import Centre, for not fitting a sunroof. This pillar is good. There's a dint there, but there's no rust or rot on the roof. Actually, that's a lie. There's a little bit of rot round the aerial, but that is not the end of the world. And the roof, well, it's very straight. It doesn't look like it's had anyone stand on it. There's a couple of wibbles here and a little bit of rust here round the back window. This pillar, there is a wibble in there, but actually this rear quarter is looking very good until you get to here. Then we start to see some problems in that there is a little bit of surface rust, and the knocking stick of justice will come back to that very soon. Looking at this door, it's all good. Actually, the door is very straight. There's a couple of car park dints in there, but the bottom is good. And then we get to this wheel arch, which again has got, well, in my opinion, some surface rust. The knocking stick of destiny, we'll have a look at that in just a moment's time. No, no, no. You come on camera and ask me to do what you've asked me to do.
Open the jar, please.
Would you like me to open the jar?
Yeah, open the jar.
There you go.
Even you struggled with it. Thank you.
Don't forget to give it a shake. Chicken korma for tea. The front has lost some of its capping here on the end and its silver stripe here. That's not a major issue. I've got quite a few of them in stock. It is, well, covered in this stuff from where it's been sat, but this door is in really great condition. These pillars have faded really bad, and if you remember, Dad and I sprayed the pillars on the White SE before the Festival of the Unexceptional. That is purely cosmetic. No rust or rot to the bottom of this door from what I can see, although I can see that it's had some sort of respray or repair in its lifetime. This wing, again, well, it's a bit crunchy. We'll get the knocking stick on that in a minute. And here as well. It appears to have been repaired and painted in its life there. The bonnet is looking good. A snail has had a party on it, but there's no major dints or dents in there. One thing I can see, however, on here is some very bad paintwork. It's definitely been resprayed in its life. Again, we'll have a look at that in just a minute's time. Hey John, show us the sills. Yeah, all right, I will. This is the offside, and well, there are a few dubious looking areas here. Uh-oh, that's a problem. That's a big problem. So that hole is at the bottom where these two doors meet, and you can see now the bottom of these doors, they've definitely been repaired at some point in their life. And it's quite a bad repair job. Look at that. Look at that paint blistering there. Who's painted that? The evidence of the bad paintwork carries on here to the wing. I think this car might be hiding a few secrets. What is that? I now have some serious concerns with regards to the underside of this car. I will get the hammer out in a minute, which is everyone's favourite. But before we do, let's take a look at the near side. Again, this rear quarter is very good. There's no rust or rot around the fuel filler cap, and this pillar is looking good. Again, a little bit of rust around this window, but nothing that I would find concerning. There is clear evidence, however, of more paintwork on here, to a point where it looks like it's been brush painted at some point. This door is okay, but we've got weight saving on this wheel arch. There is a massive hole. Oh, that's a problem. This door looks good, however. The bottom of this door appears to also have been painted, as has this door. And there's quite a big wibble in here and here. Let's take a look at this wheel arch. Starting to go at the bottom there, and a little bit of surface here. I would say out of all the panels on the car, this is probably the one that's the least rusty right now. Finally, looking at the back, the boot lid seems in relatively good condition. No spoiler on the back here, being the GL model. We have got badges that are in need of a repaint. We've lost all the paint from the GL badge there. And we've got this nice black trim, which I hope has not cracked. We'll soon find out in a minute. The lights are good. The back bumper seems pretty solid. It appears that the metal is what is wrong with this car. If you can get over that bit, it's lovely. Hey John, open the boot. You betcha I am. I love a little bit of car archaeology. I haven't had a look in the boot. Well, hey, and the good news is the boot release mechanism seems to work. I hope I haven't inherited a crime scene. Mount Sorrel service station, Lada and Proton. That was Loughborough, wasn't it? That's where my SELE came from. There is rust, rot, or bad paintwork. All on the bottom of the edge of that boot lid. Oh right. No, I haven't taken anything out of the boot. That is as found. For some reason, there's a Roos Motorsport pipe here. I've got no idea what that's for, but I will be keeping that just in case. And let's have a look at this wheel. Crikey, that is not coming out of there. That tyre is the original spare tyre. It's a Dunlop GT70. I have concerns, such concerns that I'm going to do it now. Let's take a look down there. Uh-oh. Well, we know what that's going to turn into, don't we? Comment down below now, boys and girls. Is that a hole? Let's take a look at the other side. Oh dear. Oh dear. We need the pointy stick. There is clear evidence of it being very wet in the boot here. Very wet and very damp. The suspension tops there are all showing signs that they are going to be rotten. And it actually, there's already a swimming pool in the back here. At least someone's taken the plug out. Let's take a look at this hole quickly before we get the knocking stick. That's a problem on that back quarter, which tells me, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. This is the near side sill, and apart from the big, massive hole at the back, there are more big, massive holes. That's a problem. That's a problem. Yeah. I'm not sure why someone has spent all that time and effort painting the doors and not fixing the rot. It's now time then for everyone's favourite part of these videos. John gets a knocking stick and hits the metal on the Proton. This time sponsored by the D35LA tyre iron from my Fiat 500, because somehow I've lost my knocking stick. In fact, I think I've left it in the other Proton, which has now gone to the Banger Boys. So if you're watching this, Banger Boys, where's my hammer? I'm going to start the knocking here, and that seems to be good news, and that is superficial paint bubbling here on the back quarter. That's a good start. And moving on to the offside wheel arch. Not so superficial, with quite a lot of stuff falling out from inside there. In fact, well, that's a hole. In fact, it's a hole of filler and metal. That wheel arch is posh rotten. Absolutely posh rotten. Great. Look at the amount of filler that's coming off it. That has been bodged in its previous life. Absolute bodge. Look at that massive hole. There is a big problem here. Oh, that's a hole. In fact, that whole sill is nearly coming off. John, show us that rot, please. Yeah. See that? That's game over. Nonetheless, I shall continue to use the knocking stick. Oh, that's a mess. On this sill. Oh, there we go. There's a hole. There's a hole. And you see this hole here? That's also full of filler. Remarkably, inside the door here, well, it's not as rusty as I expected it to be. That has been properly bodged in its life. Mrs. John Coupland isn't going to be too happy that that's on her floor. Driver's side sill, internal, is looking okay. And then we get here, where I think we've got a hole as well. Ready for the knocking? I'll do some poking instead of knocking. That's a hole. Well, it's already game over for this car, but that's a hole. Yep, hole. And that's a hole. This car has been really bodged because that had been filled and brush painted. Check out my holes. So it's very clear that the Proton patented knocking stick has somehow located tin worm. This car is scrap. 250 quid down the drain. In fact, I've been scammed. I think I'm going to lose money on this one. In fact, I know I'm going to lose money on this one. Let's do it then. Let's do the side that is clearly the worst. Actually, like cheese. It's just fell apart. There is a big 7-inch gash in there. What a shame. Apparently, on some cars, this bit is meant to be metal. And it's already a hole, but it's a bigger hole, and you get the point. There's a massive hole there too. See that? That'll be a hole. The passenger's side sill, however, well, is looking okay. Starting to come through though. So now we're back inside the boot arches. I could probably put my finger through it, but I'm gonna get my knocking stick. See that? That's daylight, that is. And actually this side is probably as bad. Yeah, literally a hole. I don't need to go crazy there, you can see. Well, that's it then, isn't it? It's game over for this Proton. And it leads me to ask the question, are all the Protons that I'm finding now, are all the Protons that are going to pop up in places that I'm going to spend a couple of £100 on going to be this bad and this rotten? The answer is probably yes. What am I going to save from this interior? Because externally there's not much to salvage. A few badges, a few bits of trim here and there, but I've got glass coming out my ears. I've got about 20 of these dashboards and no end of bonnets. Internal wise, I'll save this cover, I'll save the centre console, I won't save the seats, headrests will get saved, gear knob and the posh stereo. There's not much on this to save. The rear bench seats are in okay condition, and actually it looks like there is a brand new headlight here in the back. There's also a Haynes manual and a few other bits there, but internally, it is what it is. The one saving grace is that it does not have a sunroof, meaning that the interior is not soaking wet. But that's okay, because the exterior is and has been soaking wet for a very long time. Do you know what? I'll be the first to admit this. I should have left this car where it was. Well, there it is then, and it's a bittersweet video for me because I was really excited to buy this one. A lovely early L-Reg. It looked in great condition from the photographs and from being stuck in the garage before it was pulled out. It looked fantastic. I did not see that rot, genuinely. I knew about the rot on the rear wheel arch here, but I did not see any of that rot on the near side. The saving grace for this car is the engine and mechanicals seem fine. So if I can find a good shell, that engine can go in there. This shell is going to be going round the racetrack. In fact, I've rang the Banger Boys now and they are going to reimburse me some, but not all, of my cost fee. They'll send it a fitting death around the racetrack here in Lincolnshire near Skegness for the 90s event, but it's just far too economically unrepairable. It needs £1,000 worth of work doing on it, and it's an £800 car. You can't win them all. There will be bits off this one that I can salvage. I'm disappointed by this one. It's my own stupid fault. If you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up please. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know if there's a Proton near you that needs rescuing. Maybe I can throw a hilarious amount of money at it and the seller can be thrilled to see it out of their lives. Comment down below. Am I doing the right thing by buying these Protons and then inevitably scrapping them? I will make some money back, don't worry. I'm not going to lose a ton of cash. And you do win some and lose some. But again, I've been a massive loser. Until next time, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. There are so many more Proton related videos on the channel, and I've actually selected a couple that I think you might like here on this page. Give them a click to watch them now. Don't forget to subscribe for more Proton fun and lots more videos coming soon.